Hello. Hello, everybody. Woo! I think this is the first time I've ever done this. I don't think I've ever shared stems before. So the very first thing, the idea that got this whole track started was this chop I did of a sample that I found. It was like, I can't remember the name of the artist. Sample is cleared now, but it's like it was like some finger style guitar and sort of similar to the musician vocal chops. I wish I had the OG sample to show off right now, but alas, this is only a stem walkthrough. It led to this. So simple. The one thing, I mean, it's too slow for, well, it's actually around jungle tempo. It's not swung at all. It's a super simple percussion loop. My favorite move is the triple kick here with the skip snare. It's like, it's got a little, there's some interesting fills here at the end of the chorus. Isn't that funny? There's just a straight up 909 house loop in this track. You wouldn't feel it, but it makes a big difference. It's like, there's an extra layer on the snare there worth noting. Like this is the verse snare, chorus snare. And then these fills are kind of cool. I tried to like emphasize my favorite lines with backing vocals. So like, for example, here, like if there's a lyric that really popped out for me, and my favorite lyric in the first verse, well, you were staring at the window. It's this last line here. And it said, I wanna take you to the sea. Listen to all that background noise. I'm better, we'll do this bit. I've gotta stop making promises I can't keep. And yeah, for those of you who are like writing or producing or mixing your own vocals or something like that, like listen to all this shit right here. I can cuss again. I'm on my own stream. Look at all this fucking bullshit here. Never cleaned that up. No need for that. I never cleaned it up. I just, I'm just so not particular about that kind of stuff. I'm never checking to see if my subs are mono. I don't care. I don't care. So the initial idea for the guitars here, the way it got recorded was I can't really play the guitar. I'm sort of trying to learn right now, but I was working with a little like custom tuning. I don't know exactly which tuning it would be. Maybe not the one you're thinking of. And I played it on a left-handed guitar because what I wanted was I basically wanted the bass notes to be like the octave, then the fifth, and the octave. Maybe it was Dadgat. And I would just like bar the bottom three notes and let the top three notes just be whatever. And I played it one bar at a time, but the rhythm was really, really bad. So I mean, it's still layered in there slightly, but ultimately it ended up getting re-recorded. Somebody from Riot, I hit them up. I was like, hey, if anyone knows how to play guitar, can y'all fix this for me? Which is very new for me. I don't normally have that kind of help. So it's like this bit here. Wait, why are these linked together? Hello? What? What? Okay, I guess I'm turning this all the way down. And so, but one of the really interesting things was when they first hit me up to do this Star Guardian track, I wasn't sure if I was going to even be able to come up with something good. And so, before I had made this chop here, before I had made that, I hit up Brendan. I was like, hey, man, if you want to just give me like some stuff to work with, if you'll just go in your studio and grab a guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, piano, and play just a bunch of little random melodies that make you think about Star Guardian and my what you understand about my world musically, I'll just like grab those from you and maybe I'll chop them up. Maybe I'll use them. Maybe I won't. But one of the things that he sent was this little electric guitar like arpeggio thing, this and he plays this one kind of funky chord. One thing that's really interesting is to notice how dirty these vocals are. Like, music producers, like you can listen to this and be like, wow, like there's actually so much effects on here. Like you can hear so much saturation, you can hear so much doubling, you can hear a little slap delay. Like even though it's a fairly like stylistically in the song, it doesn't feel like a big affected moment. You can hear that. Someday I'll be overcast, but you won't have to cry. You can feel a lot of the saturation there. Well, I'm by your side. Yeah. We have one fill in this song that is, I was just straight up kind of going for an anime opening type feel with this fill. I was like, you know how oftentimes like anime openings will like the way that they'll go from the pre-chorus into the chorus is with just like a super hype fill. Okay, so here comes Rika. I'll turn it up. I love that. Doesn't she sound great? Yeah, it's so beautiful. I'm so happy Rika was able to like be part of the song. I love that story. I feel like I could cry right now talking about it. She like, one other thing that I'll show is the strings here are kind of interesting. I think I actually ended up using the mock-up, not the real strings here. Yeah, I think those are not the real strings that we actually recorded. Those exist elsewhere in this song. But it's just like a nice layer for behind Rika's voice. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, and that sounded so weird, but the doubles were... Okay, so next thing I'm going to talk about is the chorus. There's like an organ. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't really be able to hear on first blush. So yeah, this is a stem called Porter Big Super Saw. People who are familiar with my music from before this will know what I mean when I call this Porter Big Super Saw. Yeah, we all know about that move. It was actually sort of like, yeah, it was kind of like when I first sent one of the versions of this over to Riot, they're like, can you make the first chorus feel like a little bigger? And I was like, sure. And so like that's how a lot of this Super Saw stuff ended up getting like raised in the mix and adding more layers. Another little fun layer is what I call a Star Guardian ARP. A lot of the like history of the Star Guardian music is kind of more like, it's a little more like future bassy. It's like the like cute stuff. And so I felt like having a little synth in that style could be kind of cool. So I'll play it with the bass and guitars for context. It's this bit. My songs have a lot of stuff like that, like stuff that you don't really hear but you feel. It's not necessary to have stuff like that in your music, honestly. Sometimes it just clutters it up, and like I think I take it too far sometimes. But like sometimes it's like me not wanting to delete stuff or being scared to delete stuff. But yeah, that's what these strings are here. I love this thing. And that's being sidechained against the kick and snare. So that's why it's like it doesn't even match the sidechain anymore, but just sounds cool. When the lyric and the melody and the chords all come together, that's when I'm like the happiest. Just a story you've been told, so let's end. Listen to how like badly cut up the breaths are. Darling. Like man, I'm so sloppy when it comes to like comping vocals and stuff like that. So for the uninitiated here, one of the ways people talk about how singers cheat, autotune is one of the ways. The other ways is through extensive vocal comping, where basically you sing the same section like 50 times in a row and you cut out the parts, the best takes. And so oftentimes there's little choppy elements that come from cutting between the takes. You can hear that there. And every artist does this, basically. It's like this is just part of how you make vocals sound good. It's almost like there's been like an arms race with vocals and vocal production, where it's like if you just take your voice straight up, even a good singer, you take a good singer and you record their voice straight up without effects, and like because of how much like vocal production, how far it's come with like you have your lead vocal, you have your doubles left and right, you have auto-tune, you have EQ, you have all these things. Like you have harmonies. There's so many things, even if you can't hear them, that fill out the vocal. So I would encourage people who are recording their own vocals for the first time to not sweat the fact that their first result is going to sound like shit, because mine does too. Like you really have to put a ton of effort into vocal chains. Like every single section on this song has a different vocal chain. There's tons of doubles, there's tons of harmonies, like, and it's something that's gradual too. Like it doesn't just click all at once. It's like a Bob Ross painting. I think mixing vocals and writing vocals is like a Bob Ross painting, where gradually the good result comes into focus. It doesn't snap into place until well into the process, and it doesn't snap into place when you make a big change usually. It's just like, what does this need? Does this need another octave? Like here's an interesting thing. So, there was the Japanese artist Hige Driver just contributed this one little vocal melody to the track, because I was sending the track around to some people at some point, and this was a suggestion that Hige Driver made that I really like. So it's this one. So it cuts in kind of strangely, that little bit there was that's Hige Driver. It's just like this tiny little thing at the very end of the last chorus. It's kind of hard to hear. Let me turn it up. So it's like this bit. That's so good. It's like it's really far back in the mix. I love that. So that was just like, that was something that Hige Driver sent, and I was like, oh man, I'm keeping it. And so Hige Driver has like there's a credit on the song, and some people have wondered like what Hige Driver contributed. It was this vocal melody. Oh, someone asked, how did you come up with the non-diatonic chord change? I don't know what non-diatonic means, to be honest with you. But this was just like, okay, so this move, I know what you're talking about. It's this move, this part right here. That just came from like wanting that last chorus to just really like just be as over the top as possible. Maybe you all can see my piano roll. So all that's really happening there with that chord. So it's like oh, my sustain pedal is kind of making it hard to see what I'm doing, but so it's this. So normally it goes. So normally it goes from the major 4 to the major 6 with some, like some of these voicings, like that sort of thing. But I tried a bunch of variations. I had like, so let's pretend a little longer, like that sort of thing. I tried that at some point. But that's actually not what I ended up doing. What I ended up doing was man, I'm really too embarrassed to sing here. I think if I sent it would be better, but I'm just like, I'm scared of failing at it. So for now, I'm gonna go halfway with it. So it's like F. It's a minor 4, and the thing that makes that feel special is that the bass jumps up an octave there. It goes. So that's a move that's unique to that section of the song. Is like, I think that section feels way less special if I was to just keep the bass in the same octave. I'll show you what that sounds like. I think that like, it's a very like anime opening-esque move as well, that like bringing the bass up by an octave there, that but like this is what it sounds like if I don't do that bass leap. It's cool, but it's not as cool. It's like, it's not as emotional. So I'll turn up the bass stem a little bit so you can hear it. Oh, one other detail of the song that I like that I'll kind of talk about for a second is there's this delayed string. Whoa, look at how that affects lighting. There's this delayed like string kind of explosion that happens in the last chorus. Here come the strings. It's so good. It's so good, man. Ugh. Last thing I'll say about this is that this song took me forever and it was really hard the entire time. So this is just a reminder for if you make music and you find it excruciatingly difficult, you're not doing anything wrong. It just means you're challenging yourself. It just means you're like pushing forward into resistance and that's really valuable and that in motherfucking 18 years of me making music, because I started when I was 12, I'm 30 now. It's never really gotten easier. It would be easy if I tried to do stuff that was at the level of music I was making like, 10 years ago. But I kind of choose not to do that. I keep trying to make it hard for myself. I keep trying to challenge myself. And so, if you're making music and you find it difficult or frustrating, just know that I do too. But it's kind of all worth it in the end. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for watching.